What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, work way up through the ranks and through the teams, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2014. We're currently driving in the F1 2013 season. It is the Indian Grand Prix round 16 of season 4 of the Rags to Riches, the sequel. And if you have missed any of the previous episodes, go catch up with the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screen. You'll find the previous episode, the Japanese Grand Prix, up there, and you'll also find the whole entire playlist for every single season, the whole entire series so far. So if you have missed any episodes, that is where you need to go. But looking at the standings after the Japanese Grand Prix, we're in P6 at the moment, 13 points behind Mark Webber. Now we're not too far off Nico Rosberg either, 31 points off the Mercedes driver and 60 points away from my teammate. We still have a long way left to go. We have the remaining 4 races plus an extra 4 for the classic tracks as well. So we do have a long way left to go in this season, and hopefully we can build up that, catch up that gap on the drivers ahead of us, and hopefully try and get either a Williams or a Ferrari seat for next season. We just have to wait and see. But at the moment, it's Force India right now, so it's okay, but it's not quite going to be championship winning material. And of course, 2014 will be our final season that we'll have the chance to win the championship. So it's sort of make or break time. But let's have a look at the emails going into today's race. So race results data for the Japanese Grand Prix, for the Japanese Grand Prix, and we finished in 6th place in that race. So not too bad, but we probably should have done a better job in this Ferrari. And the race information for the Indian Grand Prix going to be nice and dry for the whole weekend, which is what we do like to see. Hopefully, we can get onto the podium once again. But without any further ado, let's head over to the race weekend for the Indian Grand Prix. Here we go then, one-shot qualifying for the Indian Grand Prix as we come down to the start-finish line and down in towards turn 1. We need a good lap here today, and hopefully we can achieve just that and get into the top half of the field. But that's not a good start to the lap, running wide there. And that's probably going to put us way down the field, but we will see what we can do over the rest of the lap. Okay, that mistake down in towards turn 1 has already cost us 9/10 of a second. Now, that's really, really frustrating. Okay, here we go then. Last couple of corners out of this Indian Grand Prix. Coming down into the final one now. We've got a Marussia just ahead of us. Please don't block me. He doesn't block me at all, so that was actually good timing there from that Marussia. But down in towards the start-finish line. What is the time going to be good enough for its back marker field? Ah, no. 18th position. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. I knew as soon as I made that mistake down towards turn 1, it was game over. It was game over. Only just beating Jules Bianchi by 2/10 of a second. That just shows how poor that lap was here today. So, we've got a lot to do. We have got a lot to do in the opening couple of laps of this Indian Grand Prix. I know a lot of you guys don't actually like it when I dive bomb down the inside down towards turn 1. But at the end of the day, if the gap's there, I'm going to take it. A lot of you are saying just wait until lap 2 and then start to pick up positions from there. But then you waste the whole lap at the end of the day. What am I supposed to do? Just let everybody drive off, stay in a single file, and be less entertaining. So I'm gonna do what I usually do. Look for the gap, see if we can take it down in towards turn 1 and down in towards turn 4 as well. And hopefully we can get a few positions in this race. We just have to wait and see how it goes. But I'm quite confident that we can get into the points here today. Pole position, though, went to Sebastian Vettel with Fernando Alonso. He's been putting in some really, really good results recently. But just look at the top 3, separated by 39 thousandths of a second between Vettel, Alonso, and Rosberg. Hamilton not too far away. He's only 1/10 off Sebastian Vettel, with Mark Webber in 5th, 3/10 off the top guys. So very, very close between the top 5 drivers. Kimi Raikkonen's in 6th with Nico Hülkenberg 7th. Jenson Button 8th, Sergio Perez 9th, and Romain Grosjean rounds out the top 10. So, what can we do from 18th on the grid for today's race? Let's find out. It's race day for the Indian Grand Prix, starting way down the field in 18th position. Our worst qualifying in our Ferrari cars. So, not the best of days in the Saturday qualifying session, but we'll be looking to make it up as the race goes on. Looking at the race strategy for today, starting on the option tyres, pitting for the primes on lap 7, and we've got a cautious fuel strategy, so we're going to burn quite a lot of fuel at the start of the race. Teammate challenge, don't need to look at that, that's pretty much over. So nothing else really to talk about. 18th on the grid, 0% chance of rain. So let's head down to the track and get today's race underway. There we go then. Sebastian Vettel on pole for the Indian Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso, he is in second place. I'm way down the field in 18th for today. Really not a good qualifying session for myself. Just messed up down towards turn 1. Broke a little bit too late. And unfortunately, that's put me all the way back here. But we'll make up ground as the race goes on. So we go to 5 red lights. It is lights out. And away we go for this Indian Grand Prix. We'll be looking to make up as many positions as we possibly can early on. Here we go, down towards turn 1. Braking at the 100-meter board. Getting caught up behind the Force India of Adrian Sittel there. Side by side nearly with Roman Grosjean down in towards turn 2 or 3 this is. Up the inside of the Force India. Then up the inside of a Mclaren there. As Jenson Button barges against the board. As we get past both the Red Bull drivers. Not a good exit out of turn 3 there for Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. Now following in the slipstream of Jenson Button. Could we go for an overtake down in towards turn 4? We're going to try it. 150-meter board on the inside of Button. Can we do anything? No, we can't. We broke late, but it wasn't late enough. But what a start to today's Indian Grand Prix. Alonso leads the way, and I'm up into P6. Not a good exit out of that corner for Jenson Button. We're right on the tail of the Brit there. Unfortunately, not able to go for an overtake just of yet, but if we can keep it onto the back of Jenson Button, we can definitely go for a move very soon. Not the best of lines once again through the penultimate corner, but we're still just, you know, chiseling away at that gap on Jenson Button, looking for an opening. Hopefully, with DRS in the next couple of laps, we can possibly go for a move, but we've sort of fallen off the back of him. 1 second is now the gap to Jenson Button, but we'll see what happens. There goes Jenson Button on Kimi Räikkönen down in towards this right-hander. What's going to happen between the two of those drivers? Can he find his way through? No, he can't. But the battling is just allowing me to creep up on these two. I've got Sebastian Vettel right on my tail. But while these two battle, I'm going to keep on gaining. Oh, and they battle quite hard in towards the next couple of corners. I've gone into the back of Jenson Button now side by side with the McLaren driver around the outside, then inside. What a move that was. What a move in towards that chicane. Wow. Incredible stuff against Jenson Button. Unfortunately, it sort of caused us to lose the back of Kimi Räikkönen, but we've moved up into P5. And that is all that matters. Gaining positions is important. 10 out of 10 there for stating the obvious, Hayden. Sebastian Vettel has a little look up the inside, down in towards the penultimate corner. We need to catch up once again to Kimi Räikkönen. So hopefully we can do that over the next couple of laps. Hopefully we can still be quick. We've got a bit of a train forming behind us. Hopefully that doesn't stay there too long. We can catch up that 2.7 second gap. Okay then, we're 6 laps into this Indian Grand Prix. And we're slowly starting to catch up to Kimi Räikkönen. We're catching him up by about a 10th a lap. So at the moment, unfortunately, it's not enough. Sebastian Vettel is catching me up. He's right on my tail. But unfortunately for him, he's just not close enough to go for the overtake just yet. However, we are now struggling with tyre wear, which, you know, doesn't surprise me in this F1 2013 game. We're always struggling with the tyres at the moment in this Rags to Riches season. But we'll be hoping to at least make it to lap 7. They're not too bad at the moment, but they are starting to go. Okay, turning in at the moment on these tyres is really bad right now. It's quite slow. I mean, just look at the turning circle that we had through that hairpin. That allowed Sebastian Vettel to have a little look going through that corner. I'm sure he's going to try it now, going for the overtake. There he is on the left-hand side. We're going to use a bit of curves to defend. We've also got Jenson Button having a little look as well. We're going to take a very defensive inside line down through this corner. Sebastian Vettel side by side. Oh my God, nearly taking out the Red Bull driver. But look at that. Just struggling with tyre wear. That is what is happening too many times on this game right now. We're just struggling too much with tyre wear. Unfortunately, that allows both of those guys through. Jenson Button, unfortunately, he has to stick behind me for now, but just really struggling. Oh, come on, turn. Just turn him for the corner. Fuck's sake, Carl. We had a little bit of a collision there with Pastor Maldonado, which some people would say would be quite ironic, seeing as my driving on this game isn't exactly the cleanest. Oh my God, this tyres. Come on! Get into the pit lane. Fuck's sake. Every single race, every single race, we have a problem with tyre wear. Can we just catch a break, please? Can we just have a race where tyre wear is nice and fine? We are competitive, because at the moment, this is just pissing me off. Every single bloody race. All the way down in 14th now, behind Jenson Button, and that just makes it worse. I need to calm down. I need to calm down, because I'm getting frustrated, and that's not going to help. Looks like one of the Toro Rossos is going for an overtake on Jenson, but he's got the job done, as I've got Maldonado going for an overtake on me. Okay, right then, we see how it is. Get done, Maldonado. You are not getting past me today, sir. Stay back there. I'm quicker than you with fresh tyres. And I'm going to utilise these now. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm going for it. Okay, here we go. On the back of Jenson Button, we've got the Toro Rosso coming into pits on this lap. So that's going to put me right on the tail of the McLaren driver. He's got DRS thanks to having, I think it was Daniel Ricciardo right in front of him. But here we go, down in towards turn 1. Trying to brake later than Jenson Button, which we kind of have done side by side, getting the job done. And there we go, moving up into P9. Now, what can we do on Roman Grosjean, who's got the overcut done on us there as we were slower? I believe, did he get the overcut or did he get past me whilst with the tyre wear? Actually, I'm not too sure. But anyway, the job that we've got to do is to try and get past Roman Grosjean. Using DRS, it shouldn't be too difficult. Over to the right-hand side. And there we go, job done. Right, let's hunt down Nico Hülkenberg. I'm so fed up. I'm so fed up with tyre wear now. Like, it's starting to happen again. My tyres starting to come away from me. I've now got Roman Grosjean right to my tail, who I was so much faster than as soon as I overtook him for the 2 laps straight away. And now he is pulling me back in, and the tyres are starting to deteriorate. If I don't make it to the end of the race and I'm struggling once again, that's it. Controller is going out of the window. Here he goes again. Roman Grosjean over on the left-hand side once again. I'm down into lean mix because I kind of have to. I don't even know why. I've been on standard mix since we've been in optimal fuel, and all of a sudden it's gone down into -1. It's gone back to optimal now, but I'm pretty sure as soon as I put it back into standard, within a lap, it'll be back down to -1. Just like the car doesn't want me to get to the end of the race right now. Here we go then, final lap of this Indian Grand Prix, and I cannot wait to get out of here. It's not been a good day for me at this track, and the tyre wear has just been atrocious. We started all the way down in 18th place. We had a promising start to the race, getting up into where I am now, I think P7. Then picked up another 2 positions, got up into P5, but unfortunately, just wasn't supposed to be anywhere further than that because we closed in on Kimi Räikkönen, then the tyres gave in, and that was the end of our race pretty much. Just going backwards since then. Now we're under pressure from Roman Grosjean. I'm going to defend my inside line, and I don't think he's going to go for the overtake anymore. Fernando Alonso, though, my teammate, doesn't have any tyre wear issues, and he wins today's Indian Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso is just on fire. He could potentially start to be a challenger for the title. We just have to wait and see whether he actually follows up on that, but that would be absolutely incredible if he can come back from where he was and win the championship. It would mean that we probably won't get that Williams seat for next season, but as long as we can catch up to Nico Rosberg, then we'll at least get a Ferrari seat for next year. We finished on P7. My driver's really happy, although I'm not really happy. Should have been so much better than that today. Should have at least been P5. If the tyres, you know, kept with us and they stayed as how the AI tyres were, we could have been up there batting with Kimi Räikkönen. We could have got P4. Maybe even, as well, got Nico Rosberg, because Rosberg was only 3 seconds away from Kimi Räikkönen. Lewis Hamilton might have been a little bit far-fetched. He was 6 tenths behind Fernando Alonso, but at the end of the day, it's just annoying. It's just really annoying. You know, I have a car that's capable of getting me up there. Look at where Fernando Alonso is, but for some reason, the tyre wear compared to the AI is just atrocious. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. How am I supposed to compete with that? I can compete for 3 laps. Otherwise, after that, I'm just defending for the rest of it. And I've got to hope that I get it right at the pit stop phase. Because if I don't get it right, like what happened today, and my tyres were completely dead on the final lap, then I've got nothing to defend with at all. So I may have to, if that happens again, go into the pits 1 lap earlier, and then have on the final lap, just defend like hell. Just try and hope that I can get through the final couple of corners without running too far wide. And stay in position. But let's go through the final race standings for today. And it is Fernando Alonso who wins today's race with Lewis Hamilton in 2nd. Nico Rosberg is in 3rd with Kimi Räikkönen 4th. Sebastian Vettel 5th. Then it's Nico Hülkenberg 6th. Then it's myself in a disappointing 7th place with Roman Grosjean 8th. Jenson Button 9th. And Adrian Sutil getting the final championship point. With Esteban Gutierrez and Valtteri Bottas just missing out on the points here. So the only positive to take out of today's race was one of the DNFs was Mark Webber, who of course was just ahead of me in the championship going into today's race. So that means I've been bumped up into P5, which is good news indeed. And Pastor Maldonado is the other guy who did not finish, which is not too much of a surprise. Right, looking at the driver standings then for today's race. 136 points. No, we haven't even closed up the gap. We have closed up the gap, but not by enough. We are now 7 points behind Mark Webber, and we are also still... no, not still. Nico Rosberg has gained on us. We are now 40 points. Yeah, 40 points behind Nico Rosberg with 7 races left to go. So, I mean, there is still a big chance for us to catch up in the championship, but it is starting to get away from us. It is really starting to get away from us. So, we've got to knuckle down in these last couple of races and, yeah, try and get some decent results and also catch up in the championship. So, fingers crossed we can do just that. Also, Kimi Räikkönen is closing in on me. If he gets past me, that's going to put me in a Toro Rosso seat for next season, and I really do not want that. Looking at the constructors' standings, though, after today's race, an okay day for Ferrari. Of course, you did have Alonso winning today's race, but I wasn't really, you know, doing a good job for them. We have closed up the gap to Red Bull, but not to Mercedes, I don't think. Mercedes now the gap 97 points. So the gap is still there. 50 points between the top two. And hopefully as the season goes on, we can close in on both of those teams. But that's it for today's Indian Grand Prix. If you have somehow enjoyed today's episode, unlike me, then don't forget to smash a like on today's episode. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula 1 content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. And I'll see you next time at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.